The radical new me, the radical new me. You changed me into what you created me to be. Radical for truth, radical for righteousness, radical for justice and peace. Welcome to the Radical New Me podcast.
Welcome to the Radical New Me podcast. I'm Donna Gerald, and today's episode is titled A Father's Legacy. And this just might be the most personal conversation I've ever had on this show. Why? Because my guest today is someone I've known my entire life. He's the father of our 3 children and my high school sweetheart, way back, and my husband of 49 years. Rick Gerald, welcome. Papa J is his granddad name, so I'm going to call him Papa J today. Welcome, Papa J.
Glad to be here. Looking forward to sharing.
Rick, you've sat with me through some of the hardest seasons of our lives, but today on Father's Day, I just want the world to hear your heart. And so I'm going to begin by asking Rick questions, and we're going to begin with what it means to be a father.
Well, let me first say that we had plenty of help raising our children. We were very fortunate to be blessed with my parents and Donna's parents, who basically kept them a good bit while we were going to work in those early years. And so they were tremendous help, tremendous support. Several friends, when you become a new dad, or leaders in our church that I thought highly of, also were great resources and to bounce things off of. And last but not least, we both have a circle of Christian friends, many from high school, some from college that we've known for years, and many of those are still married. So it's been good to have that kind of source. So that being said, I'm gonna get to your question. What does father mean to you? It's the most important role that you'll ever have.
Yes.
It's just such an honor, such a responsibility to take on that role, and you quickly realize that the first time that you hold them in your hand.
Bring them home from the hospital.
And
Yes.
so it means a lot. It's very important to me.
And most men become fathers before they even ever figure out how to become one. But when you see that precious little baby, then he said it well, the most important job, it just hits them, that they will be raising this beautiful child. The next question, did becoming a father change you? And if so, how did becoming a father change you?
Well, you lose a lot of sleep, that's for sure, to start off the bat there. But even more so, when they come in the world, we knew this going in, and we actually prepared a little bit better than some others as far as having our child. We had basically been married a few years before we even had our first child, almost 5 years, if I'm correct. And so that helped me a little more mature, a little more stable on our finances stuff. So time management became a major factor when you got a kid. We were both still working our jobs, and I was trying to establish my career, so I was spending a lot of hours there. So Donna had to take the brunt of the load there a good bit, as far as, of course, she was the one feeding them at the time too, so not much to help out there with. Yeah, we had to really manage our management time and work around all that.
Definitely changed schedules, did it not? Yes, I was a school teacher, and that also helped with me being able to get at home and be with the kids. What do you think is the greatest responsibility of a father? correct?
Looking back, when I think about that, the responsibility is that the greatest thing that a father such as myself can do is love God and seek God and follow God
Amen.
and love his wife with all his heart. Those two things, I think, when the kids see that, it brings stability to the whole father-mother relationship with our children.
Okay, that's a great example there. Thank you. We want to talk, about raising these children. We had 3 children, Krista, Brian, and Leslie. And I wanted you to just tell us some of your favorite moments raising our kids, and that you would really relive all over again if you could. The great memories.
Well, that's asking a lot when you look back. We're ranging now. Our kids, the oldest one's in the mid 40s, so we've been doing this for 40-some years. So there's a lot of memories to choose from. Now, when we think about these memories right now, it's easier to think of them as favorite memories. Now, favorite at the time might not be so true.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll never forget one of the first memories looking back on these things was when our youngest daughter, Leslie, she was probably about 6 years old.
I remember this.
We're sitting in the den there, probably around 6 or 7 o'clock, and we got somebody rang the doorbell. So we go to the front door, and EMS was there, and we said, "Man, what's going on? What's wrong here?" And they said, "Well, you're your daughter called and said she had a sick individual there at the house." So we turned and looked at each other and looked back, and went back to Leslie in the back room, and she was back there taking care of her baby doll.
She loved baby dolls.
And her
she was
doll,
my baby doll.
Her baby doll was sick, so she wanted immediate help. But had a good laugh about it. But
She picked up the phone and called 911 is the way they came. And we were in shock, and they just laughed about it. But Leslie, to this same day, she just is the same person, how caring she is, and a great mother to her children.
And also looking back at those early years, I'll never forget the many times just we went on vacations a lot. We believed in going on family vacations, spending time together, whether it's just in the pool or whatever. I remember being in the backyard with Brian and his cousin Philip. Between halftime, what a football game, we go out there and throw that football forever, and just have a great time and enjoy it. Another moment I remember as I look going forward is that when Krista made a decision to go to college, and this was a tough one. She ended up going out to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to Oral Roberts University. Now she eventually finished at College Charleston. But the thing is, this trip, I was going to drive her out, and we didn't have room because Krista packed the car to the hilt. So we didn't have room for Don and I both to go. So I rented the car and had that thing literally packed up with her. And those 16 hours of driving with her were priceless. I get emotional thinking about it sometimes a little bit, but
and then you had to leave her.
Yeah, and once I'm riding out there, we just talking a little bit about everything. And I'll never forget being on the bench when I left there. Just something about leaving your little girl. But I knew I was going to cry. I'm going to blame my friend Karen on this. If she's watching, but
tell her what she does.
But anyway, Les, having that time with Krista and that trip was special to me. And then I'll throw one more at you, and we'll move on to the next item. I was forced up with Brian when South Carolina went to the World Series to spend a week with him out in the World Series. And again, that time was priceless. Just a good 7 or 8 days spending the time together. But there's several events like these, and they also provided many teaching opportunities. But everyday life, just spending time with him was a joy for the most part.
That's funny. This one, what was the hardest part of fatherhood, the hardest season, and how'd you get through it? Did you get through it? Did it get through to you? What was the hardest? part of just being a father?
Well, when you're a parent, you want everything to be perfect for your children. You want to provide everything, do everything for them. And you better quickly realize that it's all right to allow them to fail. That's the only way that they're going to learn how to grow and make decisions for themselves. So making ourselves step back, and Donna was probably even more so than me. She was very hands-on, but stepping back and giving them a little space and let them help make it. We're guiding them and leading them along the way, but let them grow up and live their lives. So, but that was probably one of the hardest parts is doing that.
What lessons did you want most our children to learn from you? So many lessons to teach, but what lessons most of all would you want them to have learned from you?
Well, these are pretty basic to me. It's seeking God. He's your first source of advice and first source of as far as counseling and guiding you, because he's given several examples in the Bible on what we can do. And then also it's just teach them, do the right thing, not the popular thing, but do the right thing. And finally, especially when people are not watching, but we got to understand that they will fail, and we're going to have to let them make some decisions. Now, how they respond to that situation when they fail is what molds their character. And I may have one more thing on that. Is also letting them know when you fail.
Yes,
when we've dropped the ball, and going to them, because they see that and they'll trust but feel more open to share with you. But and trust me, there was times I definitely dropped the ball.
Well, they need to know that fathers don't have to be perfect. That's not what it's all about. That they know you love them and you're doing your very best. But to admit that you failed, it just shows them that you're human and you make mistakes too. We all do. And that's the next question kind of goes along with that. How do fathers balance being strong while also having to be gentle and loving? Because being strong, a man sometimes feels like, did your kids ever see you cry? This is very important to balance the two. You have to be strong, but how did you be at the same time gentle and loving, the gentle father also? Well,
there's always the base of the love. The love's always has got to be the foundation that you're building. That anytime, whether you're if you're correcting whatever, you're doing it out of love, not out of anger. And a lot of times it's easy. You get frustrated as a parent.
Yes.
You're ready to wring their throats here. But once they see that you're doing this out of love, they hopefully have already witnessed that through your lifestyle. If you're doing that, but is keeping that like Donna said, keeping that balance as far as when to really hop on the restrictions or give them give them a hard time, or when to show grace. And each kid is different. Each situation is different, and when to apply that. So
I like that, grace and mercy. They make mistakes, and we have to be compassionate and full of grace as they grow up, and because they're learning. They're not going to get it right every time. What do you think children need most from their father? Not what they want. They'll tell you, you hear what they want, but you have to decide what actually do they need the most. When did you figure that one out?
Well, you never totally figure it out. It's a constant growth period when you're raising children, because from they're little ones till they're in their preteens until they're teenagers, and I have to agree, the teenage years were probably the toughest years.
And they're convincing, I need this, I want this.
But what I feel like they need most from us, again, I'm gonna keep going back to this theme of love, knowing the love, but also your time. And when I say time, it's time that you're present.
Right.
I'm not on my phone. Of course, back in our day, we didn't have to worry about having the phone in our hands
our
all the time.
generation, we didn't have
Now
phones.
it's not so, but being present with them, doing something with them that maybe you don't really care for, but they like it, they love it. So you show an interest in that. So give them that time, give them the love, and then teach and guide them, but also at the same time, don't over control their lives.
There's a balance there, right? What moments as a dad, think back, made you the proudest? You think of Dad just beaming. He's so proud.
Well, again, there's so many when you have it as many years together with them.
Oh, yes.
And so proud of them. But of course, their decisions when they made a decision to follow Jesus. Donna and I were just thrilled when that happened, because then we know they've taken that step to let God. Because eventually they're going out the house; they'll be their own persons. So
Yes.
that was a huge college graduation. We had two South Carolina grads, and one college of Charleston grad. And see them walk across the stage, how hard they worked to get there. Couldn't get any of them to go to the Citadel, but we'll give them a pass on that. But and then I guess in watching Kristen and Leslie as parents has been just very rewarding, just to see how much love and they fully appreciate now what we had to deal with growing up when they raising them. And then last on that is that, watching Brian as he dealt with adversity and to turn his life around. I'm very proud.
Very proud of our son. Yes. And is there one of your kids, I have to laugh, that you see yourself most in? And what's it like watching them? Because you just see them, so many of your traits, which I consider good traits, but they're all unique and they're all different. But there's one that I see that is kind of more like you. You know who I'm talking
Well,
about?
I think everybody knows what we're talking about there. Krista.
The oldest.
Unfortunately,
the oldest daughter.
too much like me. Sometimes these aren't always they're good traits, but they're not always the best traits to always have. And
they're good.
She
They're
definitely
great.
she definitely was the one that probably is more like me, stubborn, driven, competitive, all those kind of things.
Competitive. It's good for sports.
But each one of them have
Absolutely.
certain parts of you as far as how they are. Leslie's probably a little more like Mama
Yeah.
J, and then Brian's kind of a cross in between the two of them.
Yes, I think it's so awesome when you see children and they're walking with their dad and talking, and some of them may have the same laugh or they walk like them. It is just so beautiful to see how each is so unique, and they get some of your traits, just like their dad. We want to talk now, we want to go into some on faith and values. And we want to start with what does being a godly father look like today? And were there Bible verses or principles that guided you as that father that became kind of an anchor for you, being that godly father?
Well, a friend of mine from my Citadel days, and still good friends today, is writing a book kind of on this, but he calls it cultural Christianity. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to be like that. You don't worry about how many social media posts and all that kind of good stuff. You don't want to have to always think about all these opinions everybody has. You have to feel confident in yourself and what God has made you to be. And so staying consistent in my beliefs and values, and I guess I'd sum it up and it's basically saying a godly father is one who shows up, he protects, he teaches, he encourages, he prays, he loves his family, even when it's exhausting and even when it's difficult.
Yes. We want to also go into with marriage and parenting together. We've been married 49 years. And so that means, we've almost been parenting that long also. And I know that it takes two to be a team. And we want to talk a little bit about just how important it is, a strong marriage in raising children, having that strength together.
Very, very important, and very important and strong. Doesn't mean you're going to agree on everything, but
That's true.
what it always boils down to when we're raising the children, we have different opinions. I know, just shout it out, that Donna respects and loves me, and she feels the same about me. But and so knowing that, you can have these discussions, disagree, and knowing that we also want what's best for our children. But I think it's good that if you have that strong marriage, you can communicate and make decisions jointly as far as what you're going to do with them.
Okay, because I know we all, I can be stubborn sometimes. And I know husbands and wives sometimes, we get it wrong. And we have to agree to disagree in love. And, did I ever push back on how you were fathering? I thought about that, and I thought, sometime if I did, we go on vacation, and Rick, he was adventurous, and he wanted to do the parasailing, and me, I was always the one kind of like, I don't know, I was the safer one. But then once he, encouraged me to do it, it's some of our favorite memories of, doing these adventurous things, and it was fun. He really made things fun, Rick, and I appreciate that about him in parenting. It doesn't always have to be serious. You can have a good time together, and as you parent your children and love them. And looking back now, there's a word called regrets.
Well, let me spend one more thing on.
You want to finish on that?
One more comment on the parenting thing.
Oh, good.
Like I said, we already have opinions, but have the discussions. But once you have the discussions, you stand as one on your decision.
That's right.
Very important you stay consistent and support each other. Once that, even if you might not totally agree with the final decision that you're going with, you got to be in unison, because the kids will divide and conquer you.
Yes, they will.
Once they figure there's a rift in the wall, they will tear
And
it
they
wide
usually
open.
come to me. I was the softie, and thank goodness he was the more disciplined. I appreciate that, because they would kind of, I'd give in sometime and probably shouldn't have, but like they knew that mom was the one to kind of go and whine a little bit more too. So anyway, but looking back now, if we could go back and done things differently, I know everybody thinks that, and tell our younger self, like when you were 25 years old and you became a father at that age, what one thing as a new dad, what would that be way back then? Why didn't anyone tell us that back then? What is it that you would tell your younger self that you needed to do?
Well, we've kind of hit on these a little bit already, but as Donna said earlier, realizing you don't have to be perfect. Again, love solves a lot of issues when you bring that to the table in your everyday life and how you're dealing with your kids. And so that, and I mentioned also about, allowing them to fail, giving them room, giving them space to fail, but then guide them along that way, and having maybe a little more patience. Patience has always been a test for me. I want it now and want it resolved now, but God, we knows it doesn't always work that way. So sometimes he brings you, you want to grow in your patience, he'll bring your kids the challenges, so you have to be patient. So anyway.
And I love it, because, we're not perfect, and I like that. And saying I'm sorry, telling our kids, that we're sorry, and that we, should have done it differently, but we did not. Is there anything you wish fathers would understand more deeply, just in a deep way?
Well, I would say, because I was always kind of a little scared when the babies. I told Donna, you get them to 2 to 3 years old, and I'll be glad to get more involved. But look, and of course I did get involved. But,
Yes, you did.
But I would highly encourage, get involved early. Establish that bond with your kids at an early age, where they learn to trust you, where they want to seek you out. Of course, especially that age till they get 6 or 7, they're wanting to be like you. So you need to take advantage of that time and develop that bond. And as you grow, they'll see that you're faithful, you're consistent, and they know you're not perfect.
Mm-hmm. And you just kind of mentioned, what do you hope our children remember most about you?
Well, I hope they believe that I love them unconditionally.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Regardless of success or failure, still love them. Nothing's going to change if anything like that happens. So that's what I hope they remember most.
Mm-hmm. Were there moments that, and I'm sure for many parents, were there moments you felt kind of like overwhelmed, unsure as a father? You kind of felt completely out of your depth. You didn't know what to do. Even some people say, I faked it, I did the best, but I didn't really know what to do. Many times we just pray, Lord, help. Were there moments that you felt this way, overwhelmed, kind of unsure?
Never. Well, that's a lie. Of course you feel overwhelmed. I don't know who hasn't been.
I know.
And of course, many who are listening to this and know us know about probably two of the biggest events that happened in our regular. But it was when I had my cancer, and when Brian went to prison, and trust me, we needed all the support we could get. And I felt overwhelmed, but God, in both of those situations,
yes,
He definitely was there with us, and I could feel Him, and I'm so grateful that we had that relationship,
so strong.
that presence. So anyway,
and He'll help us. He helped us get through it, and He's still helping us.
Yes.
Right. Okay. This says, what has being a father taught you about God's love as you learn from experiences of loving your child? How did that teach you about God's love?
Well, until you have children, it really is hard to understand why God loves us so much until you have that child. And that
Yes.
God, and you how much you love that child, that God was willing to take His child,
His son.
His only son,
Mm-hmm.
and pay the price on the cross for us. And we all know how much we love our children. We would do the same for them as far as taking their place and stuff. But when I guess once you have that child, it really solidified the cost, the price that
Of a father
God paid. Yeah.
giving up their son, Jesus, for us. Yes. Okay. What would you say to children about honoring their fathers? How to honor their fathers.
Well, they got to be respectful. It's all right. Again, I don't. They can come and disagree all they want, but they need to learn. We're going to have respect.
There's a line
and
that you draw.
That will be the baseline we work from.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that's what I would say the emphasis is on.
What does legacy mean to you now? What you planned to leave for your children, something that outlives you. Any legacy, spiritual legacy, or just any kind of legacy?
I saw something that I was researching for this podcast that I really liked a lot, so I'm going to read it a little bit here. It's just a real quick phrase, that a father's greatest legacy is not what he leaves his children. And a lot of us think that's what we got to do. We got to pile up assets and money and have them all financially taken care of. But it's what he leaves in them. And faith in God, strength of character, and certainly that they are loved. That to me is much more important to leave them with that legacy than the financial or leadership success they might have, or athletic success.
Yes, that's good. I like that. After all these years, Rick, if our children were listening right now, what would you want them to know from your heart? Something that you never quite maybe said aloud or want to repeat again and again. what would you say to our children right now, listening
Well,
from your heart?
well, you'll see me relate to sports and
Yeah.
music. Both those have been
You
important in my
love
life.
music, yes.
But a song that Leanne Womack sang years ago says, "I hope you dance." And the reason I feel like that's so cool or important is that don't sit on the sidelines. Get involved. Get out there and live life. Do what God has meant you to do.
Yes, amen.
And so get out there. You hope they dance. You hope they get out and live life to the fullest. I love to see passion in people, and I love to see the enthusiasm. Our two granddaughters are passionate about cheerleading and dancing, and so it's just a joy to watch that as they grow up and do that. And then the other thing is, remember that you choose your attitude. In other words, we can't always choose the circumstances or events that come, get in on us,
That's right.
but we can choose how we respond.
How we relate.
And people who are watching you, or friends or whatever they may be, they will see that how you responded. And when we went through cancer, many of them said, well, how do you do it? I didn't do it. My God dealt with it, and I relied on Him, and chose to have a positive attitude versus woe is me. And I would encourage that in any situation that you approach it that way.
I was looking at your shirt because I never did read to him what it said. They call you Papa J because I'm way too cool to be called Grandpa. So he's Papa J and I'm Mama J. And these were our grandparents' names. I do want to mention we have 4 beautiful grandchildren. And we're so blessed.
Yes, we are.
I have something that I want to share with you, Rick, and Papa J. And with everyone listening, I asked our kids, I said, would you send a few words about your father? And even our 2 son-in-laws about their father-in-law. And here's what they said, and I'm going to read it. And I suggest, everyone who's listening, ask your children. They'll tell you. And you need fathers to hear the good that you're doing, because you'll be surprised what they say, because they see, even though sometimes you feel unseen and you're exhausted, and your children, they will let you know the legacy that you are creating right now and that you will be leaving behind. And then they'll help you also to improve in certain things. And so I want to read what words from the hearts of our children, and I pray I can get through it. I've already read it and cried, so I pray that I won't be doing as much crying. This is from Krista, our oldest daughter. I believe being a good father is less about achieving perfection and more about being present. Whether it was coaching my rec basketball team, attending my piano recitals, or simply being at the varsity football game on Friday night to watch me cheer. Dad was always there. What mattered to me was important to him, and he supported me unconditionally. I always felt loved, even when I made mistakes. My self-confidence truly stems from Dad's unwavering belief in me and knowing he would always be there, no matter what. This is from your son, Brian. You have been the rock in my life. No matter what, I've always known I could depend on you. You've gone to bat for me and had my back through thick and thin, and had an unconditional love for no other reason except the fact that I am your son. My faith is strong because of you. And I know I can get through these dark times because of your love and your support. You mean the world to me. I love you so much. It hurts. Thank you for being my dad and my very best friend. Love, your son, Brian. This is our youngest daughter, Leslie. Papa J has always been the fun one. You're the fun one. He's the dad and even the grandpa now who gets in the pool, plays games.
I do keep my shirt on now when I get to the pool. Who say that?
Well, thanks for telling us that. He gets in the pool, plays games, tells jokes, and generally enjoys spending time with the family. But he's also someone who taught us right from wrong. He led by example and made faith a priority by praying for us and our family. We're blessed to have a dad and grandpa for our kids who is both fun and steady. I think that's a great term, steady. He shows up when you need him and can always count on him. And now this is from our son-in-law, Adrian. I have known Rick for nearly 25 years, most of those as my father-in-law. I was welcomed to be a part of his family almost immediately.
Well, he was a West Virginia boy.
That's
I did help him out.
Well, you didn't even realize this was my next sentence. He's given the reason why you welcomed him so much. I was welcomed to be part of his family almost immediately, maybe because I am a West Virginia boy.
Mountaineer.
Lots of love, he says. Rick was from West Virginia and came down in second grade, so they have this in common. He has always stepped up to help out when needed, especially for Christian and Savannah, without hesitation, which says a lot about his character. More importantly, I have watched him overcome adversity in those 25 years through his faith in Jesus Christ. I am proud to call Rick my father-in-law, and I hope he has a wonderful Father's Day weekend. And then, last of all, our other son-in-law, Orrin. In a world often filled with chaos, corruption, and moral uncertainty, my father-in-law, Rick, has been a steady source of wisdom, peace, humor, and unwavering faith. His devotion to God and commitment to living with integrity have provided an example that I strive to follow. Through the years, he has selfishly shared his experiences and life lessons, offering guidance that has helped me grow both personally and spiritually. He has also stepped in to support my family during the times when military obligations kept me away, demonstrated the kind of love and sacrifice and servant leadership that truly reflects his character. I am deeply grateful for his influence, his generosity, and the lasting impact he continues to have on my life and on my family.
Wow. Please don't wait till people, your parents, get on their deathbeds to share these things with your friends. Communicate that to them. People say, well, they already know that. They already, but we all love to hear good things.
That's right.
And
this Father's Day, tell them.
so let's make it
Tell
happen.
them.
It's never too late. You want me to?
Yes, I'm going to let you continue now with just some motivational quotes and Bible verses and a blessing to close.
I'm basically going to close with a very short blessing for all fathers. It's as we said, it's the most important job that you will ever have. You'll never regret spending too much time with your family, making an impact on your family, and bringing them to Christ. So I pray that the following over all dads. May God bless every father with wisdom to lead, strength to serve, courage to stand firm in faith, and love that reflects the heart of Christ. These are the things that you should strive for. And this is what you ask God to give you. And you ask of God, God will give it to you. And happy Father's Day. I hope you guys have enjoyed as much as we plan on enjoying it. Spending time with your families.
I just want to say thank you, Papa Jay. Thank you for being the wonderful father to our children, and thank you for coming to share on this podcast. I just love to hear your wisdom and the experience you've had through the years of being a father, and I pray that this helps someone out there just to this Father's Day, just take some of this advice and some of this wisdom and go and give them a great big hug and love them just unconditionally. So thank you all so much for joining us on the Radical New Me podcast. Take care and God bless.
The radical new me. The radical new me, living the life God called me to be. Thank you for joining us on the Radical New Me podcast. Keep choosing faith, keep choosing hope, keep becoming the radical new me.